All right, guys, we have player interview number 3. Today we have JC Theater YGO, or for this tournament, he's JC Theater Vanguard. How are you feeling going into this tournament?
It's definitely mixed feelings. I understand everyone going into this tournament is relatively new to playing or rusty. I think new. I don't know if you could answer this and give me any kind of competitive edge, but is everyone new, or do you know anyone who has played in the past and is just like relearning kind of, or are we all kind of fresh in this?
From what I know, I think everybody has been at least exposed to it, but has never actually played outside of maybe the app. But even like Cardfight 0 has like different mechanics, so I wouldn't say that it gives too much of an edge outside of, you know, like basic mechanics. So, yeah.
Okay. Then knowing that, I do feel at ease with that, but sadly, I still feel like in terms of the noobs, I am at the bottom rung of the totem pole. As you and I are aware, so far as of recording this, very close to the start of the tournament, I have played one game with you. Have you explained literally everything from start to finish with every turn, but knowing the basic rules of the game and knowing how to actually outplay or win against someone are two very different things. So I'm feeling I'm feeling decent. I feel a lot better since you showed me, but I'm still not feeling confident like I'll wipe the floor with anyone, that's for sure.
All right. Anyway, that's okay. You know, everything's a learning experience, and everybody sort of is like you said, everyone is sort of at the first step going up the stairs playing this game. So don't worry about getting creamed or anything, you know. So now, where did you first hear about Vanguard, and what drew you to the game, if anything?
Oh boy, you might have to cut out the time it takes me to think, because I'm really trying to think.
Or like maybe not the first time you heard of it, but like the first time it sort of stuck in your mind.
Okay, that's a little bit easier. So I watched this YouTuber named Kodak, who touches a lot of card games, and he goes over like he has this series called the 7 Deadly Sins of Card, and just from a perspective of someone who's touched so many card games, big and small and stuff like that. And I know he's talked about Cardfight Vanguard. He doesn't really like it too much. He's definitely talked about the weaknesses of it being like, since you're stuck into clans, the issue with Vanguard, one of the issues was that every set that came out, they had like a wide array of fans they kind of had to address with making new like cards, you know, because if you don't address every single clan, you're either spread very thin or you leave one core member of your fan base out. So, and I see where they're coming from with that, but so he's the first person who I saw talking about it like that, like actually talking about the game. I will say, now that I think about it, I think the first introduction to like Vanguard as a serious like contender in the card game sphere is actually mcole40. At the end of all of his videos, he always plugs his Vanguard channel. I have never watched it, I've never seen it at all, but I know of its existence. And then of course the most actual anything involving gameplay and anything involving actual cards or anything like that was of course you showing me in our meetings with both trying to pick a clan for myself and also going over the rules. So you're the one who's introduced me to the most actual everything about Cardfight Vanguard, other than, like I said, the upper level, just like I knew that you were stuck to a certain clan, or in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, stuck to an archetype. That's all I knew going in to doing this.
All right. So, what clan have you brought into the tournament? What trusty clan have you stuck yourself to?
Some clans are like very translated, right? Like Oracle Think Tank, right? Those are all like words I've said before. I believe it's Norakumo is who
Murakumo?
yeah, Norakumo. So as far as the one time I've played the deck and watching the deck profile that I net decked, I did change a few cards, but like, you know, going into this blind, I'm not going to say I created a deck by any means. They're focused on like having the same named Vanguards, or what are they called when they're not in the Vanguard circle? I always forget.
Rear guards.
Rear guards?
Yeah.
So are they just called guards? And, like, you know how like Yu-Gi-Oh has monsters? What are they called?
Units.
They're just called
units.
Units, yes. Yeah. I ask every time we talk about, and I always forget. So yes, units. They also have the girl who is a good guarder, and also Yasui is the build I'm focused more on, because I understand, like, you know, you can kind of gear more towards certain grade 3s over others, and I don't know. So again, I'm going into this very blind, and that's all I can regurgitate from what I've been exposed to already for it. But Norakumo is the deck I'm bringing into this. Now I have a question for you. Is anyone else by chance bringing in Norakumo, or am I the only one so far?
You are the only one.
Okay,
you are the only one. Yeah, there's one clan overlap, but thankfully everyone else has, like, the pool is pretty diverse for 6 people. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But anyway, just to drop a little fact bomb on you, Murakumo actually means gathering clouds in Japanese. So you're gathering clouds. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, what drew you to the clan over others? Because I know that when we spoke, you did have quite a few. You had an entire sort of nation that you wanted to look into. What drew you to that specific clan?
So Cardfight Vanguard in general kind of brought me to this conclusion about Yu-Gi-Oh that I didn't really realize until I like looked at Cardfight Vanguard. The artwork is amazing, right? The card borders, like the construction of the actual cards themselves and how they place the artwork and stuff, amazing. I love it a lot. But I don't really like just the random anime characters aspect of like, oh, I just like summon these shows, right? Like like I don't like, I'll play like Invoked despite Alistair the Invoker being like an anime guy, right? Like it's not like that, but just when it's too people, kind of like it looks just a bunch of like regular people almost, and I'm just like, this is kind of throwing me out of like the whole fantasy aesthetic. I guess I like that the most, like the fantasy aesthetic. So artwork is very, very key in choosing it, and they're a bunch of ninjas, right?
Yeah,
like they're cool ninjas. I like Yasui, looks super cool, like with just like the dark grays and like cool color scheme he got going on and stuff. And then the starting Vanguard being like a Jiraiya, like Naruto character, was really cool. So the artwork, and also don't quote me on this because obviously I didn't like directly compare, but they seemed like they had the least amount of text to look at. Like, in their effects are very simple, got another thing on the field and stuff like that. So it definitely, I was looking for what's the least amount to read on the fly when I'm using this deck. So that was also a big thing as well. So those two combined. The artwork was what sparked it initially, and then once I got down to the few other decks I wanted to choose, I chose that one because it seemed the simplest to me.
All right. So I know that you haven't had much time to practice, but how has the one practice game that you've had been for you?
It was very fun. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, but I will reiterate, it was literally 2 hours long, and it felt like 30 minutes. Like, it was very, very fun. I do like the gameplay. I've been very hesitant in general about this whole thing because I was nervous that it would be too confusing to me almost, especially plugging your series of a Yu-Gi-Oh player learning Cardfight Vanguard. There are definitely parallels you can attach to, but it is a different game, so I was definitely nervous about that. But once we went through it and stuff, and some of the aspects of the game with the like simulator that we're using are kind of automated and stuff, so that definitely helps a little bit. And so ultimately I feel pretty good actually about playing the game. The only thing we haven't done was I haven't guarded yet technically. I understand the concept, but I haven't actually guard. So that'll be fun to do one day. Maybe I never will have to. Maybe it'll be such a slow, grindy, weird game, like tournament with everyone being new. But yeah, it definitely the game's very fun, and I'm comfortable with playing the game in terms of actually just playing the game. Even though I've only done one game, it was a very good learning time. So I'm feeling pretty good about it.
All right. And what are the biggest differences you found in terms of gameplay, like comparing Yu-Gi-Oh and Vanguard so far?
So the thing that stood out to me the most, which again, plugging, I'm the plug guy, plugging our last episode of the podcast when you actually spoke about removing main phase 2. I don't know if you were looking at Cardfight Vanguard for that, but I kind of wanted a main phase 2. Specifically, one of the Yasuis, I don't know which one, but one of them had an effect where I had to I really wanted to use after my battle phase, but I had to wait until the next turn and everything. And I'm not usually one to really commit to doing a bunch of stuff in main phase 2 in Yu-Gi-Oh, but in this game I never really noticed it until it was gone. But that's honestly one of the biggest differences. You just battle phase and then you're done.
Yeah.
Another thing, which you get to make more zones, which is pretty crazy. And in the same vein, even though this is the same with Yu-Gi-Oh, for some reason I feel maybe because there's no extra deck, this is probably the reason, but I felt like I was filling up my spaces a lot quicker. And I literally, as you're aware because you were the one I was facing, I literally had all of my rear guard circles and my Vanguard circle, of course, filled, and I was just had a bunch of cards in my hand, and you know what I mean? So I definitely flooded the field more, and I felt that, whereas Yu-Gi-Oh, it's been since 2007 since you've been able to have 5 monsters, 5 spell and traps, you know. So that's definitely something else. Also no spells and traps.
Oh, okay.
I understand there are something similar equating to that.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, but they're not in my deck, so we're not gonna worry about that. But for my deck specifically, I didn't touch anything that resembled a spell and trap, so that's definitely another thing. But for sure, the no main phase 2 or no time to do something after the battle phase was definitely the biggest thing for me.
Okay, yeah. So when I was actually addressing that, I was looking at Duel Links and I think Speed Duels, because it doesn't have that there either. But yeah, having that extra time to do something after attacking makes a really big difference, having it and not having it. But so right now, your exposure to the rest of the player pool isn't the biggest. We have 5 other players, and so far I've talked to 2 others, and so I've talked to Woodland Docks and I've talked to Golden Nova, and they've given me their answer and why, and I'd like to hear yours, and I'll tell you something after. But who are you the most nervous to face off against?
So I definitely have a number 1 and a number 2 in mind.
Okay.
So I have to name 2 people.
Okay.
They're not leaps and bounds ahead of the others, but they're 2 that are distinctly in my mind. That's number 1 is Terrio Frost. In the Discord, in terms of I'll see in the Discord hey, is anyone down for a game? Is anyone down for a game? So I understand he's itching for a fight, you know, he definitely is putting in the commitment of actually learning how to play and practicing, which practicing is a big thing. So, and I know he asked a question, and he's talking about game mechanics that I don't even understand, how to get that question to begin with. So that's another thing. And then second is Nova. because I know he's smart, and I've faced him in Yu-Gi-Oh. So maybe I'm just getting bad vibes from that. He, like I said, Terrio's more vocal in the Discord with I see him constantly asking for games and stuff, but I know that Nova has also been asking for games and playing games also. Like, in my mind, it's like the people who have been practicing the most are obviously the ones to look out for. I know Woodland Docks is also asking for games, but I feel like Nova is more so that I know him more personally, and I know he's good at card games, so that might translate over. So Terrio's number 1, Public Enemy number 1, and then Nova's number 2.
All right, fun fact actually, when I asked the same question to Woodland Docks, he said that because he's played against at least half of the player pool so far, and he said that the one he's most nervous to play against actually is you, because he has no idea what you're coming into the tournament with, and yeah, he said fear the unknown. So yeah, you might be the resident sleeper. We don't know. Who knows?
Fingers crossed. We'll keep the mystery. We'll keep the mystery alive. So that it might give me an edge. They won't know what's coming.
All right, and Nova actually told me that the player he's most nervous to play against is Porcelain, because they've played one game together, and I don't remember what the outcome of that game was, but he seems pretty scarred from it, so that's something to look out for as well. And yeah, so at the end of all of this, what are you looking forward to the most out of this tournament?
I guess being more comfortable with playing Cardfight Vanguard. I'm not looking to win. Let's be honest here. With coming in literally brand new to a card game, I'm not expecting to top by any means. I understand the bar is a little lower because we're all kind of coming in like that. But I definitely don't want to aim too high, have fun, and again, just my goal is to leave this and be able to be like, oh, I know how to play Cardfight Vanguard. I still definitely, personally, I want to focus on just Norikumo for the foreseeable future in terms of like learning that and then branching out, because it is a whole card game to look at, you know. So I don't want to like start looking at a lot of decks and end up being like how I am with Yu-Gi-Oh, or want to collect everything. So I definitely want to stick to one deck and try to learn that, and then kind of learn other decks. Hopefully I'll have 5 other decks or 4 other decks to also like learn the ins and outs of through this. But it's just basically to learn Cardfight Vanguard in the scariest way possible. That being a tournament structure where everything is on the line, and by everything I mean my pride and reputation.
Yeah, don't worry, because the first 3 rounds will be Swiss, so you won't get to play against everyone, but you'll get at least 3 games in for this tournament. And predictions, how far do you think you'll get? You think you'll at least get to top 4?
See, this is where it makes or breaks me, because if I don't get the top 4, you know, people can just replay this answer here and be like, oh man, he was so wrong. Before our game, where I actually learned how to play, I was highly expecting to like lose first match 100%. Now, and I understand you were going very easy on me, you were playing a random deck and stuff, but I was feeling pretty confident. Like, I wasn't winning, but like I wasn't like losing really hard. So I do think that I'll still not make top 4, but if I do, I won't be as surprised as I would have been last week feeling before our practice run. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to see. It's not a stellar answer. I'm kind of like maybe I'll do top 4, but I don't know. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to hit top 4, but I don't think it's in the cards for me.
Percentage chance of you getting to top 4. If you could
Um,
spitball a number right now.
30%.
30%.
Because it's there, but again, past the first round.
All right. And that is everything that I have for this player interview. Guys, if you want to see more of JC Theater YGO, don't forget to go and subscribe to his channel. Link to that will be in the description of this video. And yeah, if you are cheering for JC and his Naruto deck, make sure that you stay tuned for the Overdress to Impress tournament, hosted by yours truly, Casual Card Gamer. That is everything for today. See you next time.